It is Tuesday, the 3rd of July 2018. I'm down in Wickham because I have these to deliver. Actually, it's quite a few more than that. So this is our local newsletter called Focus, which we deliver to all the houses in the area. So we've got 2 bundles of 100 each there to deliver, and I've also got these and these and these to deliver. That's 500 in total. Right, I have just got back to the Land Rover now, and sadly I didn't finish the patch. Still have this lot to do, which is actually less than half of what I intended doing, so it could have been worse. So I'm not going to get them done today. I'm going to come back tomorrow, but now I've got to get home because Richard has a hospital appointment just a check-up, so need to get back and get him up to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. As it's the first Tuesday evening of the month, it is Sunniside History Society's monthly meeting. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for braving these appalling weather conditions to come along tonight. And we'll all be complaining about the weather in a few weeks' time when the hosepipe bans come in and we can't clean our cars or water the grass. Right, and also thank you very much for ignoring what's happening in Russia, but there may be the odd update during the presentations tonight. I have to confess I'm not a football fan, but I became a temporary England fan because I drew England in the Potter's Wheel sweepstakes, having said to the barman just before drawing England that I didn't want to draw England because I wanted to win it. And they've since done rather well, surprisingly. It's amazing what fat cat footballer salaries can actually do for you. Right. Some 34 years ago I first met John, and he interviewed me to be an undergraduate student at Newcastle University, and I'm pleased to say that I went on to be a student at Newcastle. It was yourself and Professor Norman who interviewed me, and I have to say I really enjoyed my time at Newcastle University. It does actually mean that John has all the information about what I got up to as a student, as an undergraduate at Newcastle University. Can I say that anything that he says is utterly and totally true? Now, John lectured me British political history from 1760 to 1865, so it was quite an interesting period. But John's area of interest and expertise extends over a large period of history. So tonight, he's going to be talking to us about Hadrian, about the guy who built the wall. I can imagine he was sort of like the Donald Trump of his day, where he got the Picts to pay for the wall rather than the Romans. But I'm sure it was built in the sort of same reasons as well. But, John, the floor is yours, so thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
And as I say, the floor is now yours. John, that was absolutely fascinating. I think suddenly we have an historical figure that has gone from the name on the wall to an enormous character from history who has obviously shaped so much of history as well. There were 3 issues I was going to raise. First of all, I love the idea that he had to have elocution lessons, because he's not the first politician to do that, because Margaret Thatcher famously went through elocution lessons in the mid-1970s when she lost her sort of Lincolnshire accent and had the accent that more of us are more familiar with. Secondly, I'm staggered at how short a time it took to build the Roman wall. Because I just imagine if they were trying to do that nowadays, and you'd have 25 years of planning inquiries, 10 years to sort out the procurement, and another 10 years to actually get started on the site, just putting the foundations in before they even start building it. So 7 years to go from nothing to a full defended frontier with fully stationed with troops and so on is staggering. But my one question that I do have is about the tax, because if he effectively sort of allowed everybody to get away without paying the taxes when he first came in, how? I'm assuming sort of, everybody had to start paying their taxes after a short while. But that sounds like an incredible way to build up an enormous debt. You still have a big army that needs to be paid for. He was giving away money to people in Rome. How did he pay for all of this?
Well, I think that they gathered their taxes. Of course, most taxes were indirect. They raised their taxes by putting taxes on food and goods. And of course, I'm sure that the Romans made sure that the provincials paid more than their fair share of taxes to the central authority. But it's a one-off thing, of course. And again, I wonder how efficient the Romans were in keeping records of taxation. That if you are behind, it's probably simpler to wipe the slate clean and then start afresh and say you would pay from next Monday, you pay X, Y, and Z, which is the Roman system.
Right. I might start recommending this system to
Vince Cable.
to Vince Cable, yes. Right.
Well, remember that Mr. Gladstone once hoped to be able to abolish income tax, which was regarded by many people in the 19th century as an inquisitive tax. Did any government have the right to ask of anyone a declaration about their sources of income? How things have changed.